1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights here at Summit Point Raceway. Jesus Christ, they went out fast. It's Donny howled out for Henriksen, who gained 12 places. Look at this battle round turn 1. Charles Rayford sends it up the inside to take the lead. Andy Fox is going to try and hold it around the outside. Jared Kaler's got the inside just with Germany. Makes it through the middle. Henry Morse takes the win. We have Charles Rayford taking the win. Stephen King weaves down the straight and across the line. Donny Alpha Henriksen, half a second clear. Here they go. Can Kieran break late and hold that inside line? There, is he going to have the inside? He tags Ray round and there's a big crash up the front. Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to officially the Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GT Omega Racing. With, by the way, gonna get this out early, with our newly announced partnership of VCO Esports. We are live not just on the racing line this week and for the coming weeks for this season. We are live over there on VCO Esports as well on their YouTube channel, so you can catch us on both of those channels, which you can see there. I am your host, it's Jack Johns, the Volkswagen Jetta Cup. I cannot stress enough how excited I am for this season. A little bit nervous, to be honest, because I don't know if anyone's raced the Jetta before or seen Jetta racing, but they're feisty little cars, and I tell you what, they get extremely close, touring car-esque racing, and putting this many of them on a track at the same time, as you can see there at the bottom, as one of them cuts across the grass and spins round to the right-hand side. It can get a little bit messy at times, but, you know, that's what fans want. We want a little bit of mess, but at the same time, these guys are fighting for a GT Omega cockpit at the end of this season. 10 rounds is the Volkswagen Jetta Cup. Just a media day today, so we're going to introduce our drivers and our teams, which... Well, let's get started, shall we? We're around Summit Point Raceway for the media day. We don't visit this track again during the season, so this is purely a one-off. No points physically awarded for the championship. Let's have a look what is happening. So they've got about 7 minutes left of practice, and you can see the times on your left-hand side. Wow, look at that for a close time. So there are, I mean, ignore my name at the bottom. I've made a rookie error of registering for the session when I'm, of course, not driving because I'm busy here talking to you guys who have been supporting all the way. Thank you all very much across Twitch and YouTube. Don't forget to get in chat as well. I need to see those comments in chat throughout the race. I'll interact with you guys and, of course, try and keep track of everything that's happening on this tiny little circuit. Huge amount of Jettas out there today, and there's actually still a couple missing due to work commitments and other stuff. We've got Kadered on Twitch. Come on, Team ORD. That's who he's rooting for. And Chris collected in a Hotel Smith. There's a story behind that nickname. Let's start off with ORD, shall we? And have a quick look at Christopher Smith. This is him in the turquoisey blue car of ORD, the onlineraceDriver.com car, as he passes a teammate there. Let's get rid of some of that so we can see a bit more. It's a nice looking car. Of course, you can see the beautiful VCO sponsorship and the GT Omega Racing sponsorship on the back of that car. Now, why is he called Chris Hotel Smith? It's because last season, in our 12-round season, there was a few rounds that he could not make due to a work trip, let's say, away from home. This guy packs up his steering wheel, and pedals, and lugs it across the UK to his hotel and sets it up in his hotel. And I'm not joking, guys. He done the races. He done those races at that time. Madness. And he done all right. He got some points out of it. It weren't a complete waste of time. That is Christopher Hotel Smith. His teammate, non-related, Ryan Smith, is up there somewhere. He's currently in P11. I think everyone, they're actually in the pits. That is Ryan Smith on his side. We'll move on from that and ignore that. You've also got Dan Thornton, the team owner, Dan Thornton of onlineraceDriver.com. don't think he's currently out on track either. He's also in the pits. Currently watching Jeremy Agard drive round in the Masters of Torque car. That is the orange-looking machine that you can see on your screens now. Jerry Agard, I think, is team leader of this team. I'm sure they'll argue against that. But something special about Masters of Torque. Not only did they snap up as one of their third drivers this season, Donny Alpha Henriksen, who was very successful last season, many podiums to his name, and a race win under his belt last season. They also have, so Jerry Agard, Donny Henriksen, but let's not forget, of course he's not on track when I need him, Jake Cranston. You can see him back there, the orange car, third in a row. We'll go back to Jerry so you can see the cars driving around. But Jake Cranston is last year's champion, people. There was 2 drop rounds in a 12-round season, and Jake Cranston is last year's champion. So Masters of Torque definitely ones to watch. We also have the team Win It or Bin It. John Bailiff, currently fastest on the timesheets. They are the red matte-looking car with the UK flag on the back. Number 22, John Bailiff. His teammate out there. Well, there's no teammates actually for Win It or Bin It today, which is a shame. So he is the sole carrier of Win It or Bin It in today's media day. Lurchus Gaming, Jesus Amundere. There he is in the white pinky blue car. There's 2 white pinky blue cars out there, but Lurchus Gaming, a Portuguese-esque team. I was going to say Spanish, but they've both got there's 2 Portuguese flags on their cars and a Brazilian. You got Jesus Amundere out there. Ika Lequay is also out there. There he is. And Christian Ribeiro is driving around the track somewhere also, or off the track, as it were, as we cut across to the number 97 of Christian Ribeiro. Other teams, a newly entered team actually, taking over from a solo team last season. We have Down Under Racing, 2 Australians on the grid, and an American in this team as well. There's 3 drivers per team, as we see Ray Oliver get it all sorts of wrong into the hairpin, but Carl Ridley survives. Beautiful green machine, the Down Under Sim Esports team. Ray Oliver we just saw go round. Is he going to get back on nicely? The number 99 car. Nice and safe. And Austin Farr, their American driver, poodling around back there as well. Number 79, currently in 17th place. I think it'd be more interesting to see the gap between the times, because there are 26 drivers out there currently, and 25 of them are within 1 second. Cranny Cart jumps in YouTube and says, "Who's that Jay Johns guy at the back?" That's me, but I'm not on track, hence why I'm at the back. Let's move on. This is Jan Weiswanger, and this is the Meatball Motorsport team. Another bright cyan blue. Jan Weiswanger, one of our German drivers out there. Again, another team with 3 drivers in. 2 German drivers on Meatball Motorsport. I can't see the other ones on track, I don't think. We've got Sebastian Hallmichael, I think, is in the pits, and Kieran Dempsey, their Irish driver, is also somewhere in the pits, not currently on track. We have Martin Wallace. Is he driving around somewhere? Zero Forks Given Racing. They took over from a team from last season. We had All Sports Racing last season, and Zero Forks Given has bought out that team and entered a full team of 3. Martin Wallace was driving for Win It or Bin It, I believe, last season. So he has moved over to Zero Forks Given, owns the team, and of course they have 3 drivers as well. Of those 3 drivers, do you know what? My mind has gone completely blank. I cannot actually see any of the others on track. No. Neither of them are here. So another solo carrier this week, but will be here for round 1, I'm sure. I'm definitely missing a team, and I think I know what team it is, but I can't see any of them driving on track at the moment, which is a shame. Joshua Germany and Stephen King, Pulsus Esports, are another team that I didn't quite get. Qualifying is about to start as the overlays have a little bit of a flicker. You're going to see all of the cars now. Watch all of the cars come piling out of the pit lane. Ready? Watch this. Are we going to see them all? Well, they all disappearing behind the shrubbery. That's not really. There we go. That's what you want to see. How many Jettas can you get on this track? And this is the answer. How many can you see? Too many. Qualifying's going to be tight as they all come out at the same time. You'd think someone would be smart enough to maybe wait for a little bit of a gap on the circuit, but no, not this time round. I think whilst they do their outlap, this is a perfect time to show you the rest of the calendar, which looks a little bit like this. Round 1 officially starts next week, Monday, on the 13th of September for Tsukuba 2000, another small track where we're going to see all of these Jettas as close as we can. Same time, 20 past 8 UK time. We then fly or drive over to Okayama, also in Japan, the short layout, on the 20th of September a week later, and then a week after that we fly down to Australia to Oran Park GP for Ray and Kyle's home Grand Prix on the 27th of September. It's then time for a break on the 4th of October, and then the week after that we come back to Europe for a round around the Red Bull Ring, the national layout, so the shorter layout of the Red Bull Ring. Monza Junior, effectively a small oval with a little chicane, Alton Park Island and Donington Park GP for the UK rounds. Another break week, and then we fly over to America for round 8, 9 and 10, Lime Rock Park, Road Atlanta and Watkins Glen Cup. Kadered says show the map. Show the map. Oh, go on then. Here's a have a look at the map. So I'm in the UK, so we fly over from the UK to Japan. There's Okayama. Then we get over to Tsukuba, we drive over to Okayama, fly down to Australia. I should have just done this in the first place when I was going through it. I mean, you can fill out the gaps yourself. We then fly back to Europe, to Austria, Red Bull Ring. Drive to Milan, which is where Monza is, so it's near Milan. Stop off there. Then we're going to drive through France. We don't stop at France. There's no race there. But we're going to get the Eurotunnel back to the UK, which should happen around about now. There we go. Off he goes, up to the UK, all the way up north to Alton Park and then Donington. Quite close to each other, actually, those two, compared to the rest of them. And then we fly over to our final stint in America, starting with Lime Rock in Connecticut or Massachusetts, around that state area, down to Atlanta for Road Atlanta. This is a little bit of waste of fuel, actually, in the terms of the American locations of these tracks. So we go down to Atlanta for Road Atlanta, and then we go all the way back up to New York, the state of New York, for Watkins Glen Cup, our final round. We'll let the car get there before I shut it, and then we'll find out what's happening in qualifying. We're only 3 minutes in, there's 5 minutes left to qualify, and people are going to start posting those fast times. There we go, that's gone. Perfect. They're so close. I cannot believe they're staying so close together, as Stephen King sets the first fastest time with a 1:22.1. Chris Smith goes 3 tenths behind. 5 tenths behind is Jerry Agard. You can see at the bottom, any green squares below their names at the bottom means they've set a personal best compared to this session. If it's orange, it means they're currently going slower than their personal best in this session. If they set purple, it means they are going fastest currently in this session. Let's have a look. We haven't actually seen a Pulsar Esports car yet. This is what it looks like. Stephen King currently leading the way, sitting on pole position with 5 minutes left of this session. Last year's Constructors' Championship wrapped up pretty early, actually, by a long way, and Jake Cranston's championship rival throughout last season. And for those of you that followed last season, quite a how can I put this? A pivotal moment in the championship at Summit Point last year, when it was an actual point scoring round where Stephen led the sprint race from start to finish, with Jake Cranston on his tail. Stephen gets spun round. Final corner, last lap. Was not what he needed. In terms of the format, for those of you new viewers watching with us today, our format goes like this. It is as follows. We have a 45-minute practice, which they have done. It is an 8-minute qualifying, which you are watching now, where they try and set the fastest time to organise the grid for the sprint race. The sprint race is approximately 15 minutes long, depending on the circuit. No pit stops needed in the sprint race. It's just literally start to finish, go in the order that you qualified. We then have a quick 10-minute break, digest what just happened, and then on to the feature we go, which is roughly around 25 minutes, with a reverse grid of the top 12 from the sprint race. But double points are on offer compared to the sprint also. So you get 24 points for a win in the sprint, 48 points for a win in the feature. It's definitely mixed things up in the past. There's no drop rounds this season. All 10 rounds count. What is going to happen? Pick your drivers to support. Get those names in chat. Get your clapping emojis in chat. And of course, big shout out to VCO Esports following us this season. They'll be taking photos of the drivers in those nice little cars, and of course putting those on Twitter for you all to see. Don't forget also, I can actually see the chats of all channels in one, so please do join in. Let me know, because there are a lot of cars out there, so I might be missing something that you guys want to see. Get it in chat, and I'll of course try my best to catch it as long as there's nothing else quite strongly going on. Austin Farr, he had a great showing in the driver selection race. He's currently P3, so I tell you what, Chris Smith will be over the moon with P2 at the moment. He's going to get dizzy being up there. Greg Otley, a new driver, a new independent driver, so he's not part of a team. He's currently in P5. Andre Mayorek, used to pronounce his name wrong, going to get that right from now on. Let's go rookies, cheering for Sam Van Olst, says Gook008 in the chat. Good to see you cheering for Sam Van Olst. So you got Andre Mayorek there in P4. Sam Van Olst is currently down in P24, who's just jumped up to P21. There he goes. He's following Kieran Dempsey in the Meatball Motorsport car. Sam Van Olst, the bright yellow Belgian car behind. Nosebleed territory for Chris Smith indeed, Cadared. Up in P2, but I'm sure he's going to try and make the most of that. Another strong driver who occasionally makes an appearance in the top 5, Ika Lequay, currently in P6, followed by Ray Oliver, who's got up at stupid o'clock in the morning to compete in this Jetta Cup because of how competitive it is. Props to him. Jake Cranston was down at the bottom just then, I noticed, but then he's shot up to P5 and he pulls over. There's only 2 minutes, or 1 minute left. Terrible maths, Jack, come on. And he's in P5. He's not going to settle for that, surely. Are people now leaving it if they're at the top because they don't want to give more slipstream to people? Is that even a tactic that people would use? As Ika Lequay heads this train, Austin Farr's trying to get as much slipstream as he can. Who is that behind? That's Joshua Germany in the other Pulsar Esports car, getting slipstream from Austin Farr. We haven't seen Josh so far and seen what he's done. I mean, he missed most of practice, to be honest, so any climb in positions for him doesn't look like it. He's down in P17, but only half a second off the lead. He needs to be careful pulling over and stopping there, that's for sure. Dan Downing nearly collected him, another independent driver in what we call the FIA car. That does stand for F1 Delta, but it looks like FIA. Come on, Carl Ridley. Show us how good you are, says Captain... I'm going to say Captain Sprinkles. That's not what it says. Quali is tight tonight. Summit Point always provides this sort of qualifying, which is great. I think I'm not wrong in saying that last season it was 19 drivers within a second. But this season, it's 26, realistically. That is absolute madness. Let's have a look at the grid. Quick time before they get ready to go. This is what it looks like. Stephen King takes your pole position. Less than a tenth behind is Christopher Smith. Alex Vanderwood pops in at P3 at the end. Austin Farr P4 for Down Under Sim Esports. Andre Mayorek P5. Jake Cranston is in P6, last year's champion. Gregory Otley P7. Ika Lequay P8. Ray Oliver P9. Martin Wallace P10. Jack Lewin P11. And John Bailiff in P12. I wonder if he's trying to get a sly little reverse pole. Uses Samundere for P13. Jerry Agard P14. Dan Down in 15th. Carl Ridley 16th. Kieran Dempsey 17th. Joshua Germany is down in 18th place, half a second behind. Donny Henriksen and Duncan Murray round off your top 20. Ryan Smith, Sam Van Olst, Sebastian Hallmichael and Jan Weiswanger, Dan Thornton and Christian Ribeiro round off your field. 1 second behind pole Christian Ribeiro in 26th place. That is absolute madness. Not sure what to say about that. Greg Lee Otley. Yeah, I did. I noticed I said that, Cadared. Thanks for... Of course, chat is a welcome place to make fun of my pronunciations of people's names. That became a bit of a meme last season, but we will fight for it. Andre Mayorek, P5. Got that name wrong a lot in the media, in the pre-season event, sorry. This is media day, and we are about to get started whilst they all grid up. Stephen King is your pole sitter for Pulsar Esports with Chris Smith, ORDP2. Who is going to get the best start? Who are we waiting for is more the question. Oh, it's going to be me, isn't it? Because I'm not in the session. So we will wait for that 2-minute timer to count down. 20 seconds left. Everyone is ready. What can Jake Cranston do from P6? Gregory Otley, great showing from him. He was down the bottom end in the last race for the driver selection. And now look at him firmly in the top 10. Cracking job. Who's excited? I'm excited. You should be excited. Let's do this. The time is up. The lights are going to come on any moment now. Here they are. No lights. 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 lights. And away they go. It's a pretty decent start from everyone. Stephen King's got a great getaway. It doesn't look like he's going to lose that into turn one. As you see all of them filter through. Some free wide action already with a Lurchus gaming car at the back. You can see all of them flying down towards turn one. Have you ever seen so many Volkswagen Jettas trying to make it in to one corner? This is what it looks like with side-by-side as Alex van der Wood tries to take P2. I say tries, he succeeds. Moves up into second place and away he goes. But at the back, they're all still filtering through the corners. And it looks like a fairly clean turn one. That's some great news from everyone as Jake Cranston's under pressure from Andre Mayorek. It looks like he's passed him up into P5, Jake Cranston has, as Ray Oliver goes a little bit wide. There is so many Jettas as they come filtering down the hill now. Andre's had a cracking job. But Jake Cranston looking up the inside of Austin Farr there in the down under Sim Esports car into the hairpin. That's a brave move. But Stephen King looks like he's going to try and pull a gap on those fresh tyres. Is there some feistiness into the hairpin at the back? It looks like that is one of the Meatball Motorsport cars off, and Duncan Murray, who have gone off track there. I wonder, that's Jan Weiswanger as well. Can we have a quick replay of that before we get back to the live action through the fast section? Oh, Meatball Motorsport round. Duncan Murray collects him, and then the other Meatball Motorsport car off as he collects Dan Thornton in the ORD car. That is a shame, but fairly sort of kind of tripped up. Rush hour, says Valdez31. Indeed, the lights are out and it's go, 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 says Cadared. Stephen King now having to weave down the straight because he's got all of those drivers for company as Carl Ridley is on the inside of free wide battle back there. Can we have a closer look at that? I mean, he's a bit far. He's not too far back. He's in P14, but look at this. Joshua Germany's in the middle. Jesus Samundre round the outside. They're going to go free wide round turn one. Of course, there's contact. You can't go free wide. Jesus loses out. Joshua Germany is still on the outside of Carl Ridley. Tucks back in behind with Donny Alpha Henriksen slotting right in behind him as well in P14. That's Ryan Smith, our youngest driver on the grid, the number 66, in the other ORD car right behind. Sam Van Olst is looking to get past Jesus Samundre, who lost out massively in that free wide battle into turn one. Damn, it is close. You can see the gaps on your screen. We want to see intervals because then it shows us how close people really are. This is probably the closest battle on track as there are cars absolutely everywhere. Can we get an overhead view as Joshua Germany is now under pressure from Donny Alpha Henriksen there. Donny was going to go around the outside, couldn't quite get it done, so Joshua is getting his elbows out this time round. And Kyle Ridley is now going to be chased down again onto the main straight. Up the front, though, it looks like this once again as they come round. They're heading towards the final corner. Alex van der Wood is not letting Stephen King go out of his sight. He can sniff his first sprint race win. Of course, it's not for actual points, but the media day is, of course, a good example of what to expect for the rest of the season. Look at that train of Jettas. That is the top 10, I believe, top 11, all in a little train, and then a little bit of a gap back to Carl Ridley in P12. Stephen King takes turn one nicely as Jake Cranston has a sneaky look up the inside of Chris Smith. Can't quite get it done. He has got one of the down under cars next to him there. That's Austin Farr who was up there. It looks like Austin's going to come out on top this time round as they head towards the fast left-hander of what I would call turn two. I should learn the turn names properly and then I would know what I'm talking about. A feather for one's cap, says Cadared. Yeah, that's a good way of showing it. Stephen King still leading the way. Top battle now. There's a little bit of a breakaway there. Looks like Ikalakwe might be holding up this little train a little bit. Not too much, though. When we say a little bit, the margins are extremely fine. The biggest gap, actually, on track is to Carl Ridley, who's 2 seconds back from John Bailiff in P11. And then the next gap is Martin Wallace, who's getting pulled away from, well, that was the complete wrong way round of saying that. Dan Downing is pulling away from Martin Wallace in P18. Christian Ribeiro's doing well. The points go down to 20th place. So at the moment, the final point for the sprint race goes to Christian Ribeiro for the Lurchus Gaming car. We are on lap 3 of 10. It's only a 10-lap race, this sprint, and then I think it's 19, I believe, for the feature. And it looks like Stephen King is under pressure from Alex van der Wood, who's looking to the inside of turn one. Stephen King, can he hold it around the outside? He's going to give it a go. There's contact. He gets shoved out a little bit wide by Alex, and now he's going to lose out a little bit of the run to Chris Smith as Alex van der Wood takes the lead of the sprint race of this media day event round Summit Point. Stephen's not going to be happy about that. He would have liked the room round the outside. It wasn't given, but Alex takes the lead with a firm, strong move, and Chris Smith survives, still in P3. who's got Austin Farr in P4 right behind him, who's under pressure from last year's champion, the number 1 car of Jake Cranston, who's going to be looking to gain as many places as he can, even though it puts him in a worse place for the feature race. Round the outside goes Jake Cranston into the hairpin. It gives him the inside for the next right-hander, who looks up the inside of Chris Smith, but he does gain P4 from Austin Farr. He's going to slot in the train, and away they go. He survives another day. Ray Oliver is still there in the top 10. He's in P7, and Greg Otley is having a cracking show in number 93 car. The independent driver is in P8 still. He's got Ika LeQuay for company, who's chasing him down, and I'll tell you who is a wily old fox is John Bailiff. He's currently in P10 with no damage. He's got Jack Lewin behind him as well, an independent driver still looking to get his seat confirmed for this season. So far, it is looking good for Jack Lewin as Jesus Amundere has come into the pits. I wonder if he's got a meatball flag or some sort of damage, but in typical Jesus fashion, it's a shame to see. Down the order he goes. As I heard a little bit of contact there from someone. Looks like Jerry Agard went off track. Shall we have a look at that? Was that what the contact was? Round the outside of Dan Thornton in the 74 car. Oh, there's a Lurchus Gaming car going extremely slow there. How did that happen? Let's have another replay of that. Fuel again for Jesus. No, it won't be a fuel issue. Christian Ribeiro, what happens to him? He goes onto the gravel. He nearly spins. He slows right down and blocks Jerry, who has to avoid. They go either side of him. He absolutely gets scissored around left and right side. Good effort and great avoidance from Jerry Agard. And the other car, who, because there's so much going on, I've completely forgotten about. Up front, what's it looking like? Stephen King still chasing down Alex van der Wood. This is the top 4, trying to break away from Andre Mayorek in P5. Ray Oliver in P6, who's up 3 places. Our biggest gainer of this race so far, gainers, I should say, are these two. We've got Ryan Smith, who's currently up 6 places, and Sam Van Olst also up 6 places into P15 and P16. They're chasing down Donny Henriksen in P14, who's still giving Joshua Germany company. I'll tell you who's down the order all of a sudden. Jake Cranston is currently in P12. How has that happened? Because he was up near the top, and no one in chat, Kadered in chat, I take it back, has spotted what's happened to Jake Cranston. What is it indeed? He's looked up the inside of Chris Smith in the fast left-hander. He's bounced over the curve, and he's touched Chris Smith's rear. Round he goes onto the grass and down the order. A small mistake. No damage, really. No real slowdown. He's kept his foot pinned, but a costly one. Or is it? Because he's now down in reverse grid pole area. But he's a fighter, is Jake Cranston. He's just been passed by Carl Ridley. He will not settle just for a reverse grid pole. He will try and fight back through the order. It's a shame what happened to him, but he's back in the race, and away he goes. Duncan Murray looks like is he having a battle, or is someone just blinking in and out back there? Ika LeQuay's gone off track. Can we have a replay of that, please, sir? Let's have a quick look. It's John Bailiff right behind him. Does he get a tap from the rear? Or does he bounce over the curve himself? It's just the normal track extend by the looks of it. And John Bailiff really piling on the pressure. Doesn't get past him, though. Ika's still ahead on the timing screen. But let's have a look at this battle as they go into the hairpin. Can John brake late on the brakes? He can't get it done. Ika LeQuay is having a fantastic show today. Let's go back live because Stephen King, it looks like, has taken the lead. And my timing screen is filled up with, I think, Sebastian Hallmichael that was blinking and Duncan Murray. I can't actually see the pass from Stephen King for the lead, which is a shame because I would have liked to have seen... Oh, wait, I can see it. Here it is, as they were going side by side again. I shouldn't have cut away from that. Noob mistake. Stephen King is on the outside of Alex van der Wood in this situation. It's too late now. We might as commit to the replay. Looks like he's going to brake nice and late. Look at the glowing rear discs. And Alex absolutely sends it on the brake. Stephen King holds it around the outside. And it gives him the inside for the fastest left. Is he still in the lead, though? It doesn't look like it. Because Alex van der Wood has got that position back after a feisty fight back. Too many replays. This is it. It looks like Alex got the inside back for the fastest left-hander. On the lap later. So Alex did get the move back fair and square. Let's go back live and see what we can see as John Bailiff does pass Ika LeQuay back there on the inside of this final section. But Ika is still there. They're going to go side by side through the fast S's. This is a mad place to try passing. But it doesn't affect them. Not at all. That is a great shot of some trees. Thank you for that. We can just about see the cars through the trees. Ika LeQuay going around the outside of John there. We need to see that because he's going to try and hold it. This battle's great for P8, P9, and P10. They're now going to go 3 wide down the main straight. Who is going to come out on top in this battle? Look at the speed they're going. In fact, I can show you the speed they're going. It's 189 kilometers an hour according to that graphic. 194, 196. Are they going to reach 200 kilometers an hour? Not quite. They're going to the hard braking zone of turn 1. Eek gone slightly deep. Makes contact with John. Wasn't out of order. And now John's going to lose a position to Jack Lewin. As it looks like Donnie Henriksen is also swapping positions back there. He's going down to P17. So I wonder if he's had an issue. He's gone off track somewhere. Let's have a quick replay. That is Jeremy Agard on Dan Thornton. But what happened to Donny Alpha Henriksen? Oh, he's broke extremely late for turn 1. Can he get it stopped? He locks up. Onto the grass he goes. Joshua Germany and Ryan Smith go through. It looks like Dan Downing, Martin Wallace and Sam Van Olst might get him as well. So that's what happened to Donny. Tumbling down the order a little bit back there. Oh, exciting stuff. We're on lap 8 of 10 already, people. Can you believe it? You're going to need to get your clapping emojis out very shortly because we will announce our first winner of our media day, the sprint race. There's 2 laps left. Alex van der Wood is currently leading our sprint race. Why? This camera angle is absolutely terrible. We don't want this camera angle. We want something where we can see where they are, please. Here they come round. This is the leading group as they all come round this final corner. They're still fairly close in this 8-lap race. They're going on to lap 9. You can see the gaps here. There's a little bit more gappage. Is that a word? Behind. They have swapped around about 4 times at the front. You are right. They're having a hell of a ding-dong. It's just the slipstream of this main straight. It's just absolutely... Oh, as Ray Oliver is round. We just about caught that as they're heading into turn 1. And now Joshua Germany and the ORD car is going to want to take advantage of that. Ray Oliver crashed. Let's have a look at that replay. It wasn't with his teammate, surely. Oh, Andre Mayorek into the back of Ray Oliver and round they both go, I think. That is unfortunate for Ray and was not his fault in the slightest, as it seems like it just absolutely continued and spiraled out of control shortly afterwards. Here's the contact again. So you can see Ray shoots off into the tyre wall. Andre's going to come round. He actually hits the other down under car. So Austin Farr gets punted off as well. Is Andre going to survive that? It looks like he might do. If this was an official race, I'm sure that would potentially... I mean, it was a small mistake. Definitely wasn't done maliciously. But... likely a penalty as it has affected 2 cars' races. Well, let's get back to it. It looks like Ray Oliver is in the pits from that damage. That's not a surprise. He hit that tyre wall hard as Alex van der Wood moves to the inside to defend from Stephen King, who looks slightly to try and get the dummy. And now he's going to have to go around the outside as we are on our final lap of the sprint race. There are close battles across the field. You can see Jake Cranston's just made another move on Jack Lewin round the outside of turn 1, looking to pass Andre Mayorek in P6. So Andre did survive that crash. Pete says on Twitch, Donny feeling the pressure of a new team, as it sounded like there was more contact there up ahead. Is Donny feeling the pressure of a new team in P16? Potentially. He is normally up there, isn't it? But it's a very fast grid this season. I mean, it was a fast grid last season, but I don't think I've ever seen it this close. It is absolutely ridiculous. And look who has taken the lead. It is Stephen King, has passed Alex van der Wood for P1 on the last lap. That is mental. How has he done that? He's got the inside line for turn 2. That is pivotal. He's absolutely timed that to perfection. And we will get back in time after this replay. But look at this. That's what the contact was. It was a slight nudge on Alex's part as they went round. And that, as the rest, as they say, is history as we head towards the final corner now. Are we going to see a repeat of Summit Point last season where Alex van der Wood goes around the outside? Do not pit maneuver him the same as Jake Cranston did last season, because that would be an absolute nightmare for Stephen King, who's going to have to try and hold the inside. Alex is going to have the run and crosses the line. He's going to steal the sprint race victory. Alex van der Wood crosses the line. They both survive, so Stephen has learnt to give room to people who stick their nose in that final corner. Chris Smith crosses the line in 3rd, and Greg Otley is in P4 of the sprint race. Look at him. Oh, there's a hell of a jump back there that someone's just taken. Oh dear. Silly behaviour from Joshua Germany, who is an absolute bandit. Greg Otley, P4. He's going to be ecstatic with that. Surely, if he's not happy with that, he's not a racing driver. But your winner of today, Alex van der Wood. What a race. A sprint race, 10 laps in. It's now going to be... And I need it. I don't know about you guys. A 10-minute cooldown. I will still be here with you, of course. Don't go anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'll stay with you through this time. 10 minutes they go around now. They can go for some laps if they really want to. Or they can simply chill out for 10 minutes. Because it is just time to cool down while we can digest the results of this sprint race. Here they are. Alex van der Wood, sprint race winner, independent driver. That was mega. Go Alexander, says Shane Burke on YouTube. Thank you, Shane, for the comment. Wow. 15 thousandths of a second. 24 points would go to Alex if this was the official round one. But it is, of course, media day where you guys can pick your favourite driver to support for the rest of the season. Because it's a hell of a journey, this. And I'm not joking when I say that all 10 rounds will likely be like this. And, well, they get feistier as they go on, don't they, as the prizes start getting closer towards their eyes. But we're purely a fun championship, and we hope it stays that way. And we hope you're enjoying this over on VCO Esports as well. Shout out to them. The Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GT Omega, across 3 channels now. And it really does mean a lot. Alex van der Wood then, 24 points. Stephen King, 15 thousandths of a second. You heard me reference last season's race. I kid you not. A spitting image of last season where Jake Cranston in the sprint race tried the same move round the outside of Stephen King on the final corner of the final lap round this circuit. It had to be said that Alex was actually further alongside in this case than Cranston's penalty-worthy crash, as it did take out Stephen King last season and put him in the wall. And it was a pivotal moment in the championship as those two were fighting for the champion prize. It was late on in the season. Nearly saw a repeat. But it looks like Stephen King has learnt in this case. I mean, he's suffering from COVID at the moment. So big shout out to Stephen King for finishing P2. He does currently have the famous worldwide disease. But there he is, 15 thousandths behind with 21 points. Christopher Smith, a great showing. We said he was going to get dizzy up there. And look at him, reveling in its glory. A podium, P3. But once again, one that doesn't count. The stats don't count on this race because it is media day. So as much as I would love to add that to Chris Smith's podium tally, it's not going to count quite yet. Greg Otley, P4 on his first official showing after being announced as one of the drivers this season. Great result. Ika Lequay, another favourite out there amongst the fans with the whole Lurchus Gaming crew who support the series. P5 for him, the number 84. Andre Mayorek, another independent driver up there in P6. Great showing from him. Jake Cranston, P7 in the end. He's going to be one to watch in the feature because that, I believe, is going to put him around P6 at the start. Jack Lewin, P8. A quieter race from him this time round. Good to see as he was involved in some incidents, I think, in the driver selection race, and he is fighting for his position in the season, but it looked good from our point of view. We'll, of course, watch the race back afterwards. Carl Ridley, Down Under Sim Esports, the highest finisher for them after Ray got tangled up with someone else. P9, and rounding off the top 10, John Bailiff for Win It or Bin It. Joshua Germany ended up finishing P11 for Pulsus Esports. That's 10 points. Ryan Smith for ORD in P12. Austin Farr, I don't know if my mind's gone blank, but he was up there near the top at the early ends of the race. So chat's going to need to remind me what happened to Austin because he's now down in P13. So I wonder if he had some contact. Was he one of the ones that got tagged by Andre Mayorek? I know there was 2 down under cars that were involved in that. Martin Wallace, P14 for Zero Forks Giving Racing. They had a great showing at Seika. You could argue that is not where he wanted to be this time round, but he is the only driver out there today. Morgan Burkhardt and Jameson Huffman looking to start their season at the actual round one at Tsukuba next week. The Dan Downing, new to the Jetta, P15 this time round, not bad. Donnie Henriksen, some say he's feeling the pressure, P16. I don't think he's feeling the pressure. I think we will see him return to his former glory. Kieran Dempsey down there in P17 for Meatball Motorsport. P18 for Jerry Agard. Sam Van Olst P19 and Dan Thornton P20. And that are your points finishers. It doesn't end there though. Of course we like to give glory to everyone who took part. And here they are, your non-point scorers for today. Sebastian Hallmichael, we saw him have an issue. Duncan Murray, we saw him involved in that same issue. And Jan Weiswanger, we saw him involved in that same same issue at the hairpin. I think they were all involved in the same crash. As Yeezus pops up in chat and says, damn meatballs, I'm guessing he was involved in that issue as well. So we've got 2 Meatball Motorsports cars out of the points and 2 Lurchus Gaming cars out of the points. Yeezus Amundere and Christian Ribeiro, 24th and 25th. Ray Oliver is rounding off your field in P26 after he pitted and had to retire the car, unsurprisingly, after that massive impact with the tyre wall. And that is your order. I cannot stress enough how excited I am for this season. To see this many cars fight that closely is amazing. I love it. And now we've got another race of the same thing, 19 laps this time, with a pit stop and a reverse grid top 12. In the pit stops, they don't need to change tyres, but they do need to fuel. Some people like to untick that fuel box to get a little bit of a shorter stop and maybe gain some positions, but you know what the risk is with that? I'm sure chat knows the risk with that. And I'm sure Yeezus Amundere knows the risk with that. You run out of fuel at the end? No good, I'm afraid. That is your race over. It is... Well, it's warm-up time. Let's have a look how long's left. So there's only 3 minutes left of the warm-up. We've gone through the results. We can hide that now. There are people on track getting a few little warm-up laps in. Dan Thornton's out there right now, by the looks of it. I wonder if he's going to take us, if he can take us for a lap. Or shall we go with Greg Otley? No, let's stay with Dan Thornton and hope that he takes us on a full lap. I'll get the dashboard up there for you so that you can see his gears and the track map as well. So we're coming around the final corner now in 5th gear. Pretty fast right-hander, and then we've got this long main straight, which is where most of the overtaking is done because of the slipstream. You have to really weave down here if you want to try and break it. And they reach nearly 200 kilometers an hour. Oh, he's lifted off. I knew he'd back out of this lap. Cheers for that. Let's try Greg Otley, who's just behind on the main straight, 6th gear, flat out. He's going to cross the line. The number 93. Come on, Greg, don't let us down. Take us for a full lap. You got 2 minutes left, and we want to see it. Nearly 200 kilometers an hour as they approach turn 1. Hard on the brakes at the 3 cones, down through the gears. He's going to reach 3rd gear there. That's surprising. I thought it would have been a 4th gear, personally. He is new to the car. Maybe it is 4th. I don't know. He's currently fastest with a 123.1, though. Up he goes through the gears. Over to the right-hand side. Is it a slight lift or a dab of the brakes? Dab of the brakes down to 5th, get it turned in and get back on that power. Use all the track on the exit. Careful of that gravel. It gets a little bit iffy out there, especially if you're battling cars. Small lift for this by the looks of it. Back on the power, hard on the brakes, down through the gears. Again, personally, I would have taken P4, gear 4 through there, but it is what it is. Dab of the brakes again. Hold it tight to this curb. Get on that power now. You should be flat out all the way through this left, right section as he climbs up through the gears. Take a nice wide entry into this right. This is the stickier one of the 3 because you don't want to run too wide there. Is he going to reach 6th before the final corner? Should do, yeah. There he goes. Final corner now, which we saw as we jumped on board. Sounded like just a lift as he gets a bit of a slide on. Oh, a bit messy through there. Oh, is he going to spin? No, he holds it. Great save by Mr. Otley there. And that is a lap of Summit Point Raceway, and now you know what it's like for them to drive round. Such a shame that this is pre-season, says Alex van der Wood in chat. Think I spent all my skill in one go. I'm sure you have not, and we will see you up there again. There's Greg Otley, look. The onboard camera showing him as he goes round. Ray Oliver poodling round, and Sam Van Olst, otherwise known in that suit and helmet as Ayrton Senna. Right, it is time. It is nearly time. Oh, I'm exhausted. I hope you guys are feeling the energy for this because we've got a 19-lap race to go. Pit stops and all sorts. Can we keep track? Keep doing what you're doing, chat, by the way. Across all 3 channels, keep doing what you're doing. If you spot something that maybe I haven't spotted just yet, that is fine. Just let me know. Here's what the grid looks like for race 2. Ryan Smith is in P1, the reverse grid pole position because he finished P12 in the last race. Josh Germany P2, John Bailiff P3, Carl Ridley P4, Jack Louis in P5, Jake Cranston in P6. Definitely one to watch. Andre Mayorek P7, Ika Lequay P8, Gregory Otley in P9, Chris Smith in P10, Stephen King and Alex van der Wood P11 and P12. 12. Austin Farr, Martin Wallace, Dan Downing and Donny Henriksen are the next 4 on the grid. Kieran Dempsey, Jerry Agard, Sam Van Olsen, Dan Thornton round off your top 20 with Sebastian Hallmichael, Duncan Murray, Jan Weiswanger, Jesus Amundere, Christian Ribera and Ray Oliver rounding off your field for this race. It is nearly time. Can we? It is nearly time. There's about 10 seconds before the lights come on. Ryan Smith, our youngest driver on the grid, teenage years. Like school teenage years, with Joshua Germany, who often makes fun of me for saying that Ryan Smith is the youngest driver on the grid over and over again in every stream. But here we go. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away they go. And it actually looks like a great start from Joshua Germany, who may have the rundown to turn 1. Let's have a look as they all come flying down into this area. Looks like he's not going to get it done. Can he brake later than Ryan Smith as they head into the turn? Oh, it's going to be tight, that is for sure. They're going to go side by side. Ryan is broken later by the looks of it, and that is John Bailiff looking to capitalise, but Joshua Germany holds it round the outside, and we know what that means. He's going to have the inside for the next corner. I can't even look back and see what else is happening, because I want to see if Joshua Germany can gain the lead. It's not often we see him this racy. Sometimes he's up there in the podiums, but he'd love to take a win, and he would love it to be an official race, but it's not if he can hold it. He's taken the lead, and away he goes. Let's have a look further back. What's happening back here is we've got a blinker by the looks of it. Sebastian Hallmichael again with internet problems. Look at this. So many Jettas tumbling through this little hairpin. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of contact as the Meatball Motorsport cars there, the lovely cyan coloured with their flags on the side. The Irish flag for Kieran Dempsey and the German flag for Hallmichael and Jan Weiswanger, who is also there. Jesus Amundere is up to P21. That is 3 places gained on his start, so cracking effort from him. It's so hard to pick a battle to watch when they're all within a tenth, 2 tenths. When they're pink numbers on the side, it means they are ridiculously close. UK Pete 007 is saying, go Duncan, go. Where is Duncan Murray? He's currently lost 3 places, down in 25th place. So I wonder where he can climb up to, as Dan Downing has lost 9 places on his start. I wonder why that is. Can we see? Oh dear, that sounded like contact between Joshua Germany and John Bailiff as they were about to swap positions for the lead. But look who's right behind him. It's Jake Cranston, who's going to have the inside on Ryan Smith by the looks of it. Tucks into slipstream with John Bailiff. Look at Jake Cranston up the inside of Ryan Smith. Can he get it done? He's got the apex. Ryan Smith's going to try and hold it. Can't hold it. Jake Cranston up into P3 already, with John Bailiff ahead of him and Joshua Germany ahead of him in the lead. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure I can find what's happened to Dan Downing and why he's down the order on this little replay list. It's something that's happened very early on, maybe just a poor start, but we need to find out what else is going on, because it looks like Stephen King's making moves up on the inside of Ika Lequay and up into P8. Alex Vanderwood, who started side by side with Stephen King, is right behind. He's going to try and gain an advantage now as Ika Lequay has to go wide through that right-hander. Can't quite do it. Wow, really close. One to watch is definitely John Bailiff and Jake Cranston, because they're going to be all over the back of Joshua Germany as they come to the main straight. Look at this little free wide fight. Oh no, Joshua's going to have a hard time holding on to this. That is no testament to his skill, but just the layout of this track and the slipstream, as John is going to have to try and go around the outside once again. Is Jake Cranston going to give him a push to help him? He's not going to need to by the looks of it. John's going to get the move done. He's going to be able to turn into the apex, but is he brave enough to do it? Because Joshua Germany's going to be late on the brakes. Can Joshua Germany get the run out of turn 1? It doesn't look like he has, and now Jake Cranston's going to pull the same move he pulled on Ryan. He's got the inside for the left-hander. That's going to firmly give him the place. P2 for Jake Cranston, started in P6. He's up 4 places, and now John Bailiff is next in line. Remember, this is a pit stop race. At some point, it's 18 laps. My mistake. I said 19, but it is 18 laps. But there is a pit stop out there somewhere as Ryan Smith has a look up the inside of Joshua Germany there. We don't often see Ryan go for aggressive moves. Side by side back here with Alex Vanderwood and Ika Lequay, who gets tagged around a little bit, has a bit of a drift on, and Alex Vanderwood is going to get that position, and Chris Smith gets tagged round by Donny Alpha Henriksen, who gets collected by Chris as well as he spins round back on the circuit. That's going to be the highs and lows of motorsport. Chris was on the podium last race, and now look at him down the order. Donny Henriksen is also still down there. He looks like he's survived it. Is Pete right in chat? Is Donny feeling the pressure? It looks like he's going to go in. Has he got a meatball? So he is going to pit. collected in a hotel. 668, Donnie Henriksen in the pit lane. As Jake Cranston is going to look around the outside of John Bailiff to take the lead. Hot on the brakes. Locking up is John Bailiff. Oh, look at that little squirm. And Jake Cranston goes off. And Joshua Germany's going to take the position back. I wonder if Jake got a little of a helping hand there as he goes off around the outside of turn 1. And Ryan Smith is now going to try and take that back around the outside of turn 2. It looks like Ryan's got the run. He's got the turn in. Jake Cranston's on the inside of Ryan Smith. Round the outside of Jake Cranston into turn 2. Great move from the young lad. And right behind Jake is now Kyle Ridley for Down Under Esports. Down Under Sim Esports, should get that name right. And Jack Lewin as well as they go into the hairpin. And oh, that's Stephen King getting all sorts of out of shape there. Oh, well held that man. Did Andre Mayorek give him that position? Because that was a big old slide. Can we get a replay of that? Round they come down the hill. Oh, Andre Mayorek breaks for the hairpin. Look at this. Drifts round the outside of Andre Mayorek, and I think he holds the position. That is absolute mental. If anyone's going to vote for, and no pulsus bias, if anyone's going to vote for a driver of the day, let's see where he finishes. But that's going to be a move of the season, even though it's not an official race. How he's held that and come out on top, I will never know. Joshua Germany is still in P2, but he's under pressure from Ryan Smith as they head towards turn 1. He's constantly defending, which is good to see. I love that little lock up of the rear wheel. He runs Ryan out. He goes on the grass himself. He's made a mistake. That is going to gift about 5 people that position. Kyle Ridley's going to go through, that's for sure. Jake Cranston, of course, has gone through. Yeah, Josh tumbling down to P5. Made the mistake. Kyle Ridley now up into P3 and Jack Lewin P4. Great showing from him. Joshua Germany's going to want to fight back. He's now got his teammate Stephen King right behind though. Andre Mayorek just behind Ryan Smith, who also got run out. That sounded like contact back there as Jack Lewin is off. Let's have a look and see what happened there. Duncan Murray is also off somewhere. Let's have a look at this. Can we see what happened? Joshua Germany on the brakes late. Oh, yeah. Joshua Germany's hit the back of Lewin there. Kyle Ridley gets a taste of it too. That's going to be tough to call live, I think. You'd have to watch that back a few times. Josh would argue that there weren't enough room. I think realistically, the move probably wasn't on at the time, as Stephen King wants to get past his teammate now for P3. Jack Lewin is going to go in the pits. The race isn't over, remember. They can go in the pits. They don't need to change tyres. They can put as much fuel as they want in and make it to the end of the race now. He's going to have clear air, is Jack Lewin. As there's more contacts there up ahead. Is that the Pulsus boys that hit each other? Joshua Germany not being a team player today, and he's got Ryan Smith boxed into the Pulsus cars. You'd think that Josh is going to lift off and let Stevie go. He does. He brakes early. Stephen King in P3. Off to chase Jake Cranston and John Bailiff. The lead 2. Currently 2.5 seconds up the road. Andre Mayorek, another great showing, just sitting there waiting for stuff to happen and pick off the pieces as people are swapping positions left, right and centre back there. Can't even keep track of what we're going. Let's have a look at this track map so that we can have a good idea of what's actually happening, as it looks like Ray Oliver comes into the pits. So the main gaggle of cars at the top of that track map on the right, they are your lead cars. In terms of pit stops, it looks like this on your left-hand side. Alex Vanderwood is the black dot about to go into that top section now. He's the first of the cars that have already pitted. So he's looking good. So you're going to want to watch out for anyone coming into the pits and taking that. Or let's see where Alex comes out at that point. Ridiculously close. Germany really fighting for this position. Jack Lewin would argue too much after that punt round. As we've got a number of cars in the pits now. Kyle Ridley, Ika Lequay, Kieran Dempsey and Jesus Amundre coming to the pits as Ryan Smith goes round the outside again of Joshua Germany, who has to give him room this time. He's not going to get away with running him off too much, but he is going to still get his elbows out as the 2 green wing-mirrored cars of each team go side by side. Ryan Smith, that is a beautiful move up the inside of turn 2. Really showed Joshua Germany who's boss. Have that, Joshua Germany, as Andre Mayorek now is going to have a look at trying to come through the inside and maybe come down into the hairpin and take that position for P5. This is a close little battle. Joshua Germany tries the same move he tried on Lewin. Doesn't quite work. Ryan Smith, good on the brakes, survives Is Stephen King closing that gap? It doesn't quite look like it. 3.2 seconds the gap now to Jake Cranston. But Jake Cranston is getting a nice little pull up the road from John Bailiff. They are still side by side. Your lead 2. John Bailiff in the lead with Jake Cranston right behind. Only 0.2 of a second as they approach the final corner. You got to argue that Jake Cranston's going to make this move stick with the slipstream as John has a little bit of a disappearing act. A couple of dodgy connections today. You don't want to be seeing that when you're racing for the lead, that's for sure. Especially, look at Jake Cranston. He doesn't know where to go. John Bailiff disappearing. In, out. Shake it all about. That's the okie dokie. Martin Wallace is in the pits in P12. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out. You can see on your track map on the right-hand side, that is where people are going to come out in the pit stops. This is your battle for first. Jake Cranston 0.2 behind and Stephen King 3.8 seconds behind. That is going to be extremely frustrating if Jake Cranston can see what we're seeing, where John Bailiff is just disappearing in and out. Jerry Agard is chasing down Austin Farr for P6 by the looks of it. Just 4 attempts separates them. And the other blinker of today is Sebastian Hollmichael in P8. Justice for our down under racers, says Captain Sparkles. Down under racers are currently, well, Ray Oliver down in P25. Austin Farr's having a good show in P6. You can see him currently on your screen now. And where is Carl Ridley? Currently in P14, battling Jack Lewin. These guys have stopped Alex van der Wood. This is your net lead, by the way. Remember, only one stop is needed. Alex van der Wood currently in the net lead of the race, just up the road from these two. So justice might yet prevail for the down under sim esports cars. But Jack Lewin looks like in a good place as well after that little accident. As we see a number of cars come into the pits. Stephen King is in. Austin Farr, Jerry Agard and Sam Van Olst. By the looks of it, Dan Thornton's going to come through. He hasn't stopped yet. Top 7 drivers have not stopped yet. I wonder what's going on with Sebastian Hollmichael's internet because the overlay is not liking it at all with all that blinking. There's 2 Lurchus Gaming cars together on track. Ika Lequay and Jesus Amundere currently in P18 and 19. Do not throw the points away. Christian Ribeiro had contact with Jesus last time out at Seika. We don't want that again with these two. The 2 Portuguese drivers of the team. With Martin Wallace up the road and the ever dangerous on the brakes, Jan Weiswanger behind. In P20, currently taking your final 2 points of the double-pointed feature race, which happens every time. Double points for the feature, half points for the sprint. We're on lap 9 of 18. If anyone hasn't stopped, they're going to be wanting to stop soon. This is your lead fight still. John Bailiff, Jake Cranston, and Ryan Smith 4.5 seconds behind in P3. So the lead 2 absolutely pulling away from the rest of the field at the moment. But it's going to be interesting to see where they come out once the pit strategy has sorted itself. This is what the pit stop strategies looks like on your right so far. So you can see Henriksen and Smith must have had an issue early on because they pitted after 3 laps. Christian Ribeiro has actually had 2 stops already. That's why he's down in P26. Jake Cranston just sitting pretty there behind John. He's not putting him under any pressure. I wonder if it's the blinking putting him off as Ryan Smith and Joshua Germany come into the pits. Stephen King looks like he's your net leader. Is he going to come out ahead of Joshua Germany and the rest? He was ahead at the start. Joshua Germany is coming out the pits now, I believe. It looks like Joshua Germany's jumped him somehow. I wonder if he's underfueled because Stephen King has the speed down the main straight. Can he go around the outside of turn 1? Joshua Germany breaks nice and early. Stephen King's going to try and get it done around the outside. Joshua Germany keeps it up the inside and keeps that position. He's now in P5. Stephen King, P6 for the Pulsar Esports boys. And Alex van der Wood right behind, who's also stopped with Jack Lewin and Carl Ridley in P9. The top 4 haven't stopped yet. So at the moment, your net leader, somehow, Joshua Germany is your net leader. Don't know how that's happened, but you've got to say there's a hell of a gap to John Bailiff, Jake Cranston. You would assume that they're going to come out in the lead, but they are cutting it fine on pit stops. We are on lap 10. As I say that, John Bailiff comes in. It looks like Jake Cranston's going another lap. That's a bit risky, but I think it should make it, to be honest. But John Bailiff coming in now. He wants to see where he's going to come out as Stephen King does get past Joshua Germany. I wonder if that was a let pass or an actual move. I've made the mistake before of saying that he got let past, and he did actually pull the move off on Henry Morse, their 3rd teammate who isn't here today. John Bailiff in the pits. Out he comes. Where is Stephen King? You can see him in the background. It looks like it's easily done. Yeah, you would argue. I mean, there's no arguing needed. That is the gap. John Bailiff is the car heading towards turn 1 now, and that is the gap to the next guys behind, the two Pulsars cars, as Alex looks up the inside of Joshua Germany as they head into turn 1. Can he get that done? Not this time. Still, though, if you think about it, a lot of Jettas together after 11 laps of racing, as Martin Wallace has a bit of a nudge for Vika Lequay. That's going to send Ika out wide. Yusa Samundre is going to take that position for sure. Let's have a look at a nice little camera turn 3. John Bailiff's gone wide. Who's coming out on top in this? There goes Stephen King. Joshua Germany leads the next train. Look at... Oh, Jesus. Jerry Agard getting all sorts of out of shape on the gravel there as they come flying round the camera of turn 3. We don't want this camera, surely. We want someone who's not blinking. Dan Thornton and Jake Cranston. Well, Jake Cranston's come into the pits now. Cameras are having an absolute mare. Here's Stephen King. Going towards the final corner. Onto the main straight as Jake Cranston is about to come out the pits. We need to see what's going to happen over here. Jake Cranston comes out way ahead of John Bailiff. That is a cracking in-lap from Jake Cranston. And I think that's all the stops. It is all the stops. We can get rid of that pit strategy now. Put the battles box back on. 1.8 second lead Jake Cranston has as he comes out the pits. That, well, you got to say, I don't know how he's done it, to be honest. He was right on John's tail. John pits a lap earlier. I wonder if there was an issue in the pit stops. Let's have a quick look and compare their pit stop times. Pit lap timer. Jake Cranston, 24.4 seconds. He was stationary for 8.8 seconds. John Bailiff was in the pits for 31 seconds in total and stationary for 10 seconds. So that is how that is done. The pit stops have messed him up. The Win It or Bin It crew have absolutely shafted John Bailiff down into P2, 1.7 seconds behind Jake Cranston. Can he close that gap with the final 6 laps with Stephen King looking solidly in P3? The only person pressuring him really is Joshua Germany behind, 1.4 seconds behind, who's got all sorts of company. Alex van der Wood and a whole train all on board the Germany train, because that is what is happening right now in P4. He's going to try and hold on to it. He's been fighting for his life. He enjoys battles like this, does Joshua Germany, I'm sure, but only if he survives. So it's going to all depend on the rest of the race. As he goes to the inside pretty early. Spaghetti of Jettas, to say the old saying of as they all come down the straight. We haven't said toss in the salad this round either. We haven't seen many people going on the grass. Alex van der Wood round the outside of turn 1. We know what Josh is like on the brakes. Locks up that little rear right. It looks so good when that rear right locks up and then around they go. Very touring car-esque. But now look at this. It's 2x2 as they head towards turn 2. Can Alex... Is he going to send it up the inside? Late? Surely not. But it looks like Carl Ridley's got the inside on Jack Lewin. That is going to be P6 if he can hold that behind. Let's have a look at these two. They're still side by side as they're heading down towards the hill. Down towards the little lift-off right-hander. This is a risky place for Kyle to be. He's going to try and brake as late as he can into the hairpin. Alex touches Josh by the sounds of it. Jack Lewin goes a little bit wide into the hairpin. Carl Ridley has the inside. He's now on the outside for the next right-hander, and up into P6 goes Carl Ridley, but Jack Lewin's still on his inside. This battle's going to continue around the flat-out S's. Jack Lewin now on the outside for this one. Can Kyle... Yeah, Kyle gets his bumper right in front of Jack Lewin. Wow. Do you know what? Good effort, boys. Thoroughly impressed with that. This is on board with Jack Lewin, the top of Jack Lewin's car, but look up ahead as Alex van der Wood is all over the back of Joshua Germany. Another little punt. Have that, Joshua Germany, around the final corner as they're now heading towards the main straight. This is all about the slipstream now for Alex van der Wood. Look at the gap on the right-hand side. It's 3 tenths as Josh moves to the inside. He moves back to the left. Don't weave too much, Mr. Germany, because you don't want to be doing that. But there you go. Heading towards 200 kilometers an hour. 198 it seems they top out at. That is the top speed. I want that battles box back, really, so we can see the gap. It was down to 2 tenths in the end. And this is what it looks like sector-wise. We want to see it compared to Joshua Germany, really. Gook 008 says, from P22 to 11th, let's go Sam Van Olst. good shout, actually. Let's have a look. Who has gained the most places in our race today so far? We're on lap 14. There's 4 laps left. Alex van der Wood, 1/10 quicker, slower. Oh, I don't know which way around that is, actually. It's orange, so you'd assume that that is slower, but it's next to Joshua Germany's name. So Joshua Germany is 1/10 slower than Alex van der Wood through Sector 1. Let's have a look at it this way. Oh, Alex is round the outside. Yeah, he's all over the back of him. Look, he's just sticking his nose in there as Alex van der Wood. This is as close as you want to be as they're going to touch again. This looks like a move for P4 as Alex van der Wood is going to have a look around the outside. He's got a hell of a run out of that final corner. Is he going to get it done before turn 1? Can Joshua Germany hold on to it? It's going to be tight as he looks like he's trying to squeeze him to the left-hand side. Oh, he brakes nice and late, does Joshua Germany. Into the corner he goes. Bounces over the curve. You don't want to do that too much when you're battling side by side. Is he going to get the position done? Where is Alex van der Wood? He's there somewhere. He's actually on the outside for turn 2. So it looks like Joshua Germany may hold it this time. In terms of most positions gained, let's just see out this battle because I think it's going to continue. I don't want to cut away because every time I cut away from something like this, a crash happens. As Carl Ridley's gone off track. Where is Carl Ridley? He's in P11 at the moment. Sam Van Olst is up into P10. Jack Lewins, oh, is he going to brake nice and late? I wonder if they touch there. Alex van der Wood looks like he's survived though. And Joshua Germany's got a bit of breathing space. Big gainers. Okay, Jake Cranston currently in P1. A nice little gap actually. A second gap to John Bailiff, who has closed the gap in fairness to John. But there's only 3 laps left. Up 5 places is Jake. Up 1 place is John Bailiff. Up 8 places is Stephen King, currently in P3. Joshua Germany has lost 2 places from where he started, but he's doing well to hold on to P4 at the moment. Alex van der Wood is up 7 places in P5, with Jack Lewin for company, who's only lost 1 place behind. Ryan Smith, the biggest loser so far, he has lost 6 places in this race, with Jerry Agard, your joint biggest gainer of this race, up 10 places in P8. So Jerry Agard's having a cracking race. Up 8 places behind is Kieran Dempsey. Sam Van Olst, who's just being passed by Carl Ridley. Carl Ridley is now only down 6 places. Sam's going to try and get the switchback, who's up 8 places from where he started, it says on this timing screen. 9 places for Sebastian Holmichael gained, and the other 10-place gainer is, in fact, Jesus Amundere, who you can see on your screens now, who is past Ika Lequay, who is under pressure from the quiet, we haven't heard from him in a while, Duncan Murray in the number 33 South African mobile. And he's got Andre Mayorek for company there in P17. I wonder what happened to him. He's down 10 places. He was well at the top. Have I forgotten about a big impact for Andre? Or is he just down there for a mistake in the pits, perhaps? I don't think so. There's a couple of 8-second stops. Who else did an 8-second stop? I think Donnie Henriksen. So there's a Masters of Torque strategy. 2 Masters of Torque cars with an 8.8 second stop. Donnie actually 8.3. Everyone else. Oh, no, here's an 8-second stop. Joshua Germany got an 8-second stop as well, so he's done well. So many Jettas. So much racing. And John Bailiff is now down to half a second with 2 laps to go. Could John Bailiff steal this towards the end? Sam Van Olst is not letting Carl Ridley out of his sights down there in P11. He wants a top 10 finish, but he's got a whole train of cars in front of him, and there's only a couple laps left. And we all know what happens in the closing stages of a feature race like this. Things tend to kick off. There's going to be a few disappointed customers in today's race, although they are still battling hard for every position, as we see Martin Wallace go up the inside of Austin Farr in the Down Under Sim Esports team versus Zero Forks Giving Racing down in 22nd and 21st place. Donnie Alpha Henriksen currently taking your final 2 points just behind Dan Downing and Gregory Otley in P18 and 19. Dan Thornton is up 3 places in P17, a little points haul for him today if it was an official race. But look at this gap of your leaders. I said that he wouldn't do it. Somehow he has. It was a 1.7 second gap. There's 1 lap to go, and there's 2 tenths between John Bailiff and last year's champion Jake Cranston. Are we going to see John Bailiff's new driving skills in action? How feisty is he going to be on this last lap, people? We've been here for 17 out of 18 laps. On to the final lap we go. You've got to say Stephen King has secured P3 back there. He's not going to gain P2 unless these 2 crash. Jake moves over late. John Bailiff commits to the inside. Jake has to yield. Can John Bailiff get the run out the inside of turn 1? He needs to move over if he can. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to, as Jake Cranston now still has the inside for turn 2. That's a bad position for John Bailiff unless he can hold it around the outside. He holds Jake Cranston tight as he can. Jake moves over on him. They're going to touch. John Bailiff is still there. He's going to keep his foot in. He's entitled to that because I believe Jake Cranston run him out. He's now going to have the inside to the flat out right-hander as they go downhill in towards the hairpin. Here they go. John Bailiff is now on the outside for the hairpin. Jake Cranston's going to have the inside. John Bailiff, can he commit to the outside? He's trying it. He's gone off. He's on the gravel. Oh, he's tried it. And I tell you what, it looked like he had it for a second, but that is going to be... do you know what? He needed to do it. It was a hell of an attempt for John Bailiff. It hasn't paid off. And Jake Cranston now has a 1.5 second lead as they've got a final few corners to go. Is there any other battles out there that we can quickly look at before they... Oh no, look who's tumbled down the order. It's Joshua Germany. I said something was going to happen. He's down in 11th place. I wonder what has happened to him. Joshua Germany off the track. Let's have a look at the leaders as he comes around the final corner. Jake Cranston is going to be your feature race winner as he crosses the line to take the Media Day win. No points on offer today, but there he goes with John Bailiff going to take the jump in frustration, and Stephen King is going to come across the line in P3. A good race from him in the end with Alex Vanderwood, who started next to him on the grid, is going to come home in P4 with Jack Lewin in P5, side by side across the line nearly. Ryan Smith P6, Jerry Agard P7. Kyle Ridley comes home in P8. It's the most justice that Down Under are going to get today. Not a bad result for Kyle. Kieran in P9. Sam Van Olst P10. Chris Smith in P11. Duncan Murray. Still racing, these two by the look of it. Comes home in P12, just ahead of Ika. Well, 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 people. Oh, do you know what I didn't do? In fact, we can do it now. It's not too late. Vote driver of the day in chat. To do that, all you have to do, in any chat, whether you're watching on Twitch, the Racing Line YouTube, or VCO Esports YouTube, all you have to do is put in chat, #vote, followed by your driver name. Now, do not... you need to put the driver name, Gook008. Vote closes at the end of the race. Captain Sprinkle says vote Carl Ridley. Cadared says vote John Bailiff. That's one vote each. Get those votes in whilst we go through the results. I'll tell you what, you guys keep doing that. I'll go through the results of the feature. They are now up and ready. Ryan, what am I looking at here? I need to get rid of something there. That is what I wanted. Right, results screen. Here's what it looks like then. With the feature points on the right hand side, it's double what it was in the sprint. So whilst you guys are voting away, let's have a look at the results. Jake Cranston does take your feature race win in the end. Oh, did not mean to do that. Apologies. Sorry, I don't even know what I'm looking for right now. There we go. Let's just carry on. So, Jake Cranston, 48 points, P1. The number one car takes a feature race win and 48 points. Much better than his sprint race. Was it tactics to finish P6? I doubt it. He's a racy guy. But up there he goes with 48 points. John Bailiff, 42 points for P2. It would be if this was an official race. A cracking effort from John Bailiff in P2. Stephen King comes home in P3. Great strategy. Got him up there in the end. Alex Vanderwood in P4 was side by side with Stephen, so those two actually went from P11 and 12 to P3 and 4. Jack Lewin, P5, a strong result for him. Ryan Smith in P6, Jerry Agard P7, and Carl Ridley P8, Kieran Dempsey in P9, and Sam Van Olst rounds off your top 10 with 22 points in P10. Cracking effort from him as well. Chris Smith gets another haul of points. I'll tell you what, it's been a strong race from Chris. With a P11 and a P3. A load of points for him if this was an official. Duncan Murray, P12. Ika Lequay, some more Lurchers gaming points in P13. Sebastian Hallmichael, a strong points haul for him in P14. Andre Mayorek in P15. Dan Thornton grabbed some points in P16. Gregory Otley, some more points in P17. Wow, do you know what? This season is going to be... well, I was going to say the closest season yet, but it is only our second season, but I cannot call this. Can Jake Cranston hold his championship title? Or are we going to see a new crown this season? Pulsar's Esports were the Constructors Champions last season. Are we going to see a new Constructors Champion this season? Trophies for the top 3 drivers. Trophies for the 3 drivers in the top team also. Thank you to our sponsors of VCO Esports, of course, on that front, who are joining us today and for the whole season. I'm sure with some cracking photographs to be released at some point throughout the week. We have Dan Downing, P18, Joshua Germany, P19, Austin Farr, P20, taking off your final 2 points for Down Under Sim Esports. So 2 cars in the points for Down Under Sim Esports in the end. Duncan Murray says, this is tough racing, guys. Damn crash, 0.2 litres out of fuel, says Jan Weiswanger. Interesting. Let's have a look at these votes. We will have a look at the non-point scorers in a second. Carl Ridley, John Bailiff, Sam Van Olst, Duncan Murray, Greg, Duncan Murray. Wow. So it looks like, well, there's a couple of double votes there, but... Oh, Jesus, says Alexander. Is that the second one for Vanderwood? No, it's the first one. I mean, I can't overrule the fan votes. This is a fan-voted system. And it looks like we're gonna close it. We're gonna close it here. Duncan Murray is your driver of the day, people. I don't have a little fancy graphic with a picture of Duncan Murray, unfortunately, but Duncan Murray is officially your media day driver of the day. Unfortunately, it's not official. We're not going to put it in the stats, Duncan. I apologise for that. But Duncan Murray, your driver of the day. Yeah. So interview time. Let's have a look at the final non-point scorers very quickly. Rounding off your field is Martin Wallace for Zero Forks Given Racing, Donnie Henriksen. In fact, you should have some stats for these guys because Martin Wallace is a pole sitter at Summit Point, down in 21st place, and not a great race for him, but he will be coming back strong, I'm sure. Donnie Henriksen, a race winner and podium sitter, down in 22nd. Ray Oliver, also a podium sitter, down in 23rd. Christian Ribeiro down in 24th. Jan Weiswanger 25th. And Jesus Amundere down there in 26th again. Jesus, what is going on? That Lurchus Gaming car needs to bump up the order. Thanks, guys, in chat. Jack Johns didn't do well in that race. Who's that Johns fella? Overrated down in P27. Two meatballs, says Jesus Amundere. So thank you for that information. There you go. It's as simple as that. It's interview time. Who are we going to speak to today? I mean, it has to be. Let's have a look. That was fun, says Jack Lewin. I'm glad he enjoyed it. Right. Who is in the driver's room that we can speak to that is worthy of an interview? I think it has to be said. Shall we? Yeah, I think we should try and speak to Stephen King, actually. We're not going to spend too long making this choice, but Stephen King was P3. Let's drag him in. Stephen King, P3 in the feature after a sprint race P2. Strong result. How are you feeling?
You caught me off guard here, Jack.
Have I?
I have just had to fly back to my mind. Yeah.
Oh, did you hear your name on stream? He's ran back.
What did he say? I'm assuming you're saying how do I feel, whatever. Well, that was great fun. I mean, I'm sure you saw the stream first, the sprint race. Oh my god, it was just a big choo-choo. And when I was looking in my rear view mirrors, it was just forever. A line, it just went on forever and ever and ever. That was great fun. That was exhilarating. I just like closed my eyes when that race was over. The sprint race, that seemed to go really quick. The feature race, I'm chuffed with how quick I managed to get to P3, but you know, the top two had done such a good job pulling away. That was it. P3 was always going to be the best that I could get. But yeah, right, it's just good to be back. Really, it's been a long time. I've missed these Monday nights. I really have.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a gap in our schedule, hasn't it? We took a break from the Jetta Cup for after season 1. Took an iRacing season out, as it were. But it's great to be back, and with more, we're going to see more Jettas this season. And you've got to say, what are you thinking of the new crowd? Because they're not they're not shy, are they? They're fully getting involved with the season 1 veterans.
Well, one of them schooled me. Alexander World, absolutely brilliant that race. It finished the back. I mean, he did a great job keeping it. I mean, I was getting absolute flashbacks.
Yeah, but same here. You watch the stream back, you
season.
listen to my flashbacks as it was happening. I couldn't believe it. I mean, you would argue that I think I did say actually that Alex seemed to have more car alongside than maybe Mr. Cranston last season. And at the same time, I knew you would be having flashbacks from your point of view, and I wouldn't say you learnt from it because it wasn't your mistake last time out, but definitely you weren't going to squeeze him this time with that dreaded three wide tyre ball that claimed your sprint race win last time.
I don't know what it is. We're going through the S's towards the end of that race. You just seem to have something over me. And those S's, they are flat out. It's all about just, picking the line perfect. And I was obviously stubbing the tyres too much, and Alex was doing a great job going through there, which meant he had that run into the final corner. But now it's a great show from all of the new guys. I mean, the more the merrier, and it's so competitive. You saw it in qualifying. Was it down to 25th? Was it? We were all
25th within a second.
That's what you want, isn't it? That is brilliant.
It's crazy, and really looking forward to this season. And those that were still on trial today, I'm sure, will have done a good job. We'll watch the race back and all that sort of stuff. As usual, obviously, congrats on it was a double podium for you today, which if it was an official round, of course, would have been a decent points haul, and you wouldn't have been disappointed with that. But tell us, well, is there anyone you want to say thank you to, hello to, and whatever before I let you go and speak to someone else?
Obviously, shout out to Sean again. She's watching this, as she always does, and a big shout out to our new partners and VCO and GT Omega. It's great to have the support of them on board, and just having this channel and this series from strength to strength. It's great to be part of the journey and to be one of the OGs. It's really exciting.
Thank you very much, and I'm sure everyone greatly appreciates it. We'll speak to you again soon, Stephen, and see you next week for round 1 at Tsukuba.
Cheers, Jack. Take care.
Stephen King there, lovely lad, and a double podium, second place in last year's championship. Who else should we speak to? I would not mind speaking to Mr. Vanderwood, I think. Let's bring Alex into the comms box. For a very strong reason, Alex. You are you would be a sprint race winner. And where did you finish then? P4. How are you feeling? Strong race, really.
Did not expect that. Must admit, I had a hell of a lot of luck at my qualifying lap, which actually put me up for this because I had a slipstream in my qualifying lap, and at that point I was still 18th. If I didn't get that slipstream on literally my last lap, I wouldn't have been here. But at that point, when I started P3, I just thought to myself, just let's go for it and see where it ends. And that went a lot better than I ever hoped to happen. Just I'm really afraid now that I've just spent all my luck for the season in the preseason race, but we'll see.
Oh, I'm sure you haven't. We know you've got pace here at the Jetta Cup. We've raced you in a couple of other events. In fact, speaking of our new partners at VCO Esports, it was actually there where we got to share the track for the first time in a while.
We did.
With me and Stephen driving the Pulsar Jetta for the race for the Flood on the VCO Esports team, and you for Project Dynamic with your teammate Louis Clark, was it?
Louis Clark, yes. Shout out to him for actually starting that race as well, because when the race started, I was still at work. So
oh, there you go. It worked out perfectly for the race for the Flood. So a sprint race win. Technically under your belt, not on the stats unfortunately, but it is there in your head. You've got the pace. You're in P4,
I'll take it.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it was talk us through your point of view of that move on Stephen King, because it on the sprint race victory, it was 15 thousandths when you crossed the line. In case you didn't know.
I believe so. Yes.
Well,
basically, when Stephen got by me, I think it was between turn 1 and 2, basically left-hander, he got by me. And I thought to myself, well, that's it then. I'm not going to get past him. And when we came out the twisty bits at the end of the run to the last corner, I noticed that he didn't have such a good run that I had. So I was closing up to him. And I decided to just carry a little bit more speed out of the corner, and it just gave me just enough speed around the corner to just get around the outside of him. And at first I was just looking at the timing. I was looking down, wasn't even looking where I was going, just looking down, just hoping to see my name just pop on top of him. And I think it was maybe mere seconds, like 1,000 of a second before the start finish line I actually got past him. And I've said a few profanities in celebration that I won't repeat here, but
it's I'm not sure. I think you might have followed a few races last season, but it definitely would have given Stephen flashbacks of what ended his sprint race victory last time. And it was about to happen again by the looks of it in that exact same position. But you had your car alongside, and it was great to see because
ever so slightly.
Yeah, he was. That's a P2 driver in the whole season last season. So,
oh dear.
So no slouch at all. So and he said in his interview, you absolutely schooled him today. So it's got to be a confidence boost. We're heading to Tsukuba next week. Just before I let you go, is there anyone you want to say hello to or thank you to before we end?
Shout out to Gilles and the PD team for providing me with the car, and a shout out to Shane as well for basically ringing me on the phone to congratulate me on the win for it, because I didn't know who was watching, but shout out to him as well.
There you go. You've got some fans. It's great to speak to you, Alex. Hopefully we'll speak to you again soon. And see you next week for round one.
Hopefully next week. See you next week. Thank you.
We have time. We always tend to do 3 interviews. Maybe some in the break, but we don't tend to have time in the break. So we always end off with 3 interviews. We've got time for one more. I might put it down to chat. Let's have a quick catch up in chat before we close off. We'll have one more interview before we end the whole stream. What have I missed? So, Jerry said biased. That'll be because I interviewed Mr. King in the Pulsar Esports team. Jack Lewin said that was fun. That was close, says Jerry to Jack. Got me sweating. So a lot of the drivers have really enjoyed themselves tonight. Please talk to Kyle, says Captain Sparkles. That'll be Carl Ridley. Got a meatball, said Jack Lewin. But lucky it happened before the pit lane. What a race, says Ika. Both of them. Even if he ended up P13, he did it with a big smile on his face. F1 Delta, that's Dan Downing, says terrible race on his behalf. He caused way too many incidents, which I'm sure we'll watch back in the driver's briefing after the race. Man, these slow-mo shots are amazing. Thank you for that. Killed in the last corner. This season will be good, says Sebastian. Sumo Smith says, well done, Ryan. Good racing. Jerry said that Stephen King's driver looks like he's got COVID, in reference to Stephen King actually having COVID tonight for the last 2 weeks. He didn't sleep at the start this time. Who's that in reference to, Jan? That would be, of course, Alex van der Wood, who we just spoke to in the driver selection race, had his engine off. So that was a great start from him. Practice is over. Next week, things get serious, says Jesus Amundre. He's looking for a strong performance. Kyle Ridley, interview driver of the day. What a race. I had a terrible one, says Donny, but very, very fun. This season will be intense. My team didn't put enough fuel in, says Germo. Right, that'll be why he had a quick stop. Wishing Stephen all the best, says Jerry. Interviewing the driver of the day is a great idea. Obviously, we can normally talk to the podium sitters. I'm sure we will speak to John at some point in the season again. So let's bring him in, actually. He's a new driver to the season this time round. He's the only South African driver on the grid, and he is your driver of the day for today. Duncan Murray, how are you feeling, sir?
Sure, that was tough, eh? That was really, really tough racing, that.
Well, tough in a good way?
Yeah, no, it's very competitive. I didn't have such a good qualifying. I think if I had a good qualifying, I would have been up there. But, I think it was 1 second covering 25 cars. So, yeah, but it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. I was banking on using the pit stop in the second heat to work my way up a bit, but it's difficult to pass as well. So, but it was good racing. I enjoyed that. I missed a lot of incidents, luckily, as well. It's uncharacteristic of me as well. So, but a lot of fun.
Of course. And I mean, I'm glad you're getting stuck in as well, because I think it's easy for something like this. There's a lot of drivers out there on track, and you are not new to the car, but new to something like this. In terms, if you compare this to SimLab Production Car Challenge, which is where this car gets used on iRacing, it's so different, isn't it, to how the racecraft needed for that D-Class series is completely, it's a different style to when you're racing effectively 30 of the same car, where everyone kind of knows what they're doing in a way, as we see a shot on screen now of a swarm of you coming down the straight. But tell us how it is battling so many people. Like you said, it's intense and it is tough. But you must be looking forward to the season as a new driver for season 2.
Yeah, definitely. It's Jettas on steroids. It's unbelievable. Sim labs, you can't compare. The racing it's so competitive and close, and everyone is really fair. You know, there's obviously little bits of banging and bumping here and there, but you know, everyone's trying. You know, everyone's just trying for every little inch. You know, and it's the small things that get you through, that put you up at the top. And you've got to take your hats off to like the guys at the top. You know, I think Alex drove an incredible first heat that was unbelievable for him to win his first event as well. So it's really unbelievable racing, very competitive.
Of course. And as you are our last interview for today, I will ask you a quick question about next week. So we're heading into the official season now. This was obviously media day, so no points actually on offer. But you would have got some decent points today for sure with your finishing positions. But round 1, Tsukuba 2000, the normal layout, next week Monday. How are you feeling about that?
I'm definitely going to go and practice, eh?
Yeah, and it'll be worth it. I think it'll be. I mean, I'm sure people practiced last season as well, but it's going to be intense. It really is.
Yeah, I think you've got to put a bit of time into it to get a good reward out of it. I'm going to practice. I also don't want to take it too seriously. You know what I mean? I'm here for fun, you know, and it's a great bunch of guys to race with. We have quite a few laughs, and it's really good fun. Loved it so much. And how did I get driver of the day? Was I voted or?
You were voted driver of the day.
Oh,
you got about.
I must have some.
You got some fans out there.
Some secret fans. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for the votes. I really appreciate that. That was incredible. I don't know who you are, but I'll hunt you down and give you a big kiss.
Yeah,
I promise.
There you go. Well, it was Lurchus Gaming had probably a I wouldn't say random, but they had a big following last season. But it looks like I think you got about 3-4 votes in the end, when the others got 1 to 2. So big strong driver of the day voting for you. And let's see if you can get some more for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I hope you can interview me for a win or a top 3. Yeah. That'll be great.
Of course.
I think that's the next goal on the list. I'm gonna actually write that down.
Okay, no worries. Is there anyone, before I let you go, Duncan? Is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to before I let you go?
Well, thank you to yourself for this wonderful event that you put on. I'm sure it takes a lot of good and hard work out of work hours. So thank you very much. And then thanks to all the fans that voted for me. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Duncan. Yeah. Good to speak to you. We'll speak to you soon.
Cool. Cheers.
Duncan Mayorek there after a strong showing on his second race if you include the driver selection. It is... Well, it is that time. It is time to pretty much end. It's that goodbye time for the stream, where all of you have come along, you've watched these races. Thank you again to VCO Esports who are following us this season across our 10 rounds, which you can see on your screen now. We head to Tsukuba next for round 1, followed by Okayama and Oran Park for our triple header before we take a 1-week break for a quadruple header, followed by another 1-week break and a final triple header to announce our Jetta Cup champion. Duncan hit a good point there, saying that he is here to have fun and not take it too seriously. And to be honest, that is what this series is about. The racing is real, but most importantly, it was a real key thing last season that everybody had fun throughout the season. Of course, tensions ran high at times, but there is no doubt that all 22 drivers that made it to the end of last season had developed and become better racers because of it. And this season we are hoping to see the fruits of that labour throughout, and adding and load new quick drivers into the mix as well. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, VCO Esports, again for being with us. Thank you, GT Omega, for our prize sponsor, which you can see all over the cars, of course. One more catch up on chat before I say goodbye and play that ever pumping Jetta Cup intro that you all love. Welcome to Monday Madness, Duncan says. Jerry, you will age 5 years each week in this league. Alex says, I'm 26 and already grey. Greg says, still haven't had a race where everything went right, but very much enjoyed the racing tonight. I'm sure he got P4 in the sprint. What's he talking about? Jerry, last season I was just learning how to ride a bike. Now I'm before retirement. Jan, I like the track next week. Had my first win there in a Jetta. Cadared, gotta love the South Africans. And Jesus, next week the real fun starts. Thank you for those of you that stuck around to watch us. Thank you to those that took part. And, of course, thank you once again to VCO Esports. That's pretty much it from me. I always forget my own outro. That's pretty much it from me. If I don't see you on track this week, then I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. You know what the final word is, chat. Say it with me. Peace.